All right, throwing up that intro card as we are loading into the map and waiting for those players. And here it is, round one. This is the first semifinal of the day as a reminder. It's going to be Zeblasky with the Dark Elves taking on VM Evenstar with the Tomb Kings. All right, here we are. MP Alpine Ridge is the map. One of my favorite maps. I think aesthetically just the best colors ever. Mountains in the distance and the light drizzle. I do enjoy it thoroughly. And we have this lovely terrain feature in the center. Yagion88, thank you so much for the follow, man. Does the word embarrassed have anything to do with bare-assed? That's a great question. And I don't know the answer. But I'm going to go ahead and assume, yes, it does, because you just brought it to my attention, Scotland. But anyways, let's get to the battle here. Let's cover the Dark Elf army first, since we haven't seen the Dark Elves today. And oh my god, I love this Dark Elf army so much. Oh my goodness. Anyways, before I freak out too much, we have Bleak Swords on either flank. We're going to have a center infantry formation that is going to consist of 4 units of Black Arc Corsairs. We're going to have Dread Spears on either one of those flanks as well. This armored infantry is quite good. Shetland Apache, thank you so much for gifting another sub to Bad Dog No Biscuit. So there we have it. Look at these Black Arc Corsairs looking glorious. We're also going to have a 3rd Dread Spear in the center of the rear. Got 2 repeater crossbows backing them up. And then for the monsters, which is what's really made me excited here, we're going to have 1 Hydra, and then a 2nd Hydra being the ROR Chill of Sontar. Those looking glorious. They have regeneration, they have breaths, and if these breaths line up, they do some of the most damage of all the breaths in the game, just because the angle they hit. We have Marathi up on top of her Dark Pegasus. She'll have the Wand of Carried On for that Bound Doombolt ability. She'll also have Soul Stealer, Power of Darkness, Melikos Mystify Miasma. Then she has Heartrender the Dark Sword for a very significant debuff. Enchanting Beauty for another significant debuff AoE. Greater Arcane Conduit, and Spiteful Conjuration. So that rounds out the Dark Elf army. Let's see what the Tomb Kings have brought. And it looks like they're going to have a couple scouting skirmishing forces up front in the form of 2 skeleton horse archers. We are then going to have 2 Nehekara horsemen on the left flank. Another 2 Nehekara horsemen hidden on the right flank. In the center, we have a single unit of skeleton chariots ready to go bulldoze some Dark Elf infantry. And then in the very, very far back, hey, Scoot, thank you so much for the prime, man. There we go. Hype train emote shared. Now, for the Tomb King army, though, besides the cavalry forces and chariots went over, we have skeleton warriors. Looks like 2 of them. We have 2 Tomb Guard in the back line, 2 skeleton spearmen up front. Ushapti with Great Bow, a Tomb Scorpion, a Necrotech, no, just kidding, a Lich Priest of Nehekara, going to have with him the Nefarious Scroll of Mighty Incantations for that extra magic, Usep's Incantation of Desiccation for a massive AoE debuff, Osirian's Incantation of Vengeance, which I rarely see, and Jaff's Incantation of Cursed Blades. And then for the leader, we have High Queen Khalida on top of her Serpent. She is going to be bringing Venom Wave, and my will be done, and that's going to be it, guys. So let's go check out the action and see what's going on. Dark Elves have a ways to walk, but I think they'll be okay on the approach. There's just not too much firepower from the Tomb King army, like enough to where I think they're going to be able to snipe any of these key units down on the approach. But the Nehekara warriors, or sorry, the Nehekara horsemen are really going to be just trying to play an aggressive flank game here, where getting a nice rear charge on the Bleak Swords. Repeater crossbows are going to be firing at them. Doombolt going down on top of the skeleton horseman archers. I want to check the Ron of Carried On stats. I can't remember. Okay, so it's capped at 2 uses. And yeah, it just looks like the Nehekara horsemen trying to harass on the flanks. The skeleton horse archer is going to be fulfilling the attacking role by expending their ammunition. Repeater crossbow is going to continue trying to chase down these Nehekara horsemen and fire these armor-piercing rounds into their backs, and actually doing some nice damage. And meanwhile, now the Ushabti the Great Bows have pushed forward to start dishing out some damage. Melkos Mystifying Miasma going down on top of the Skeleton Horseman Archers. And right now the Dark Elves, I like the versatility here on display, using a lot of different items and abilities to basically slow down and chip away at the harassing Tomb King forces. And so far, I think they're actually getting the better of the trade in terms of damage output. I mean, you can see these Skeleton Horseman Archers taking a lot of damage. These guys taking a touch of damage, but then back here, Nekar Horseman down to about half health, so we'll see. The Tomb Kings are going to need to get a lot of work done to pull this off. And over here, Nekar Horseman charging into the Bleak Swords, but the Bleak Swords doing a counter charge in return. MX Silence, thank you for the subscription. That's 2 months. Thank you, thank you. But yeah, oh, over here, Nekar Horseman got a beautiful pickup, eliminating one of these repeater crossbows. There's nothing nearby to save the repeater crossbows, and as long as they keep the chase up, that's going to be one very dangerous unit removed from the Dark Elf roster. Every little bit counts, guys. Over here, the Skeleton Chariots doing some nice damage to the Black Orc Corsairs on the charge. Looks like the repeater crossbows are going after them, but not going to be getting the most damage done. Nekar Horsemen are coming into the rear now, too. And repeater crossbow is going to be running away, trying to get out of here as the Chill of Sontar comes into play and dish out some damage of its own. I do think the thing the Tomb King army will need to worry about the most here, though, is going to be the single entity combat, because I feel like those two Hydras are going to have a field day when they close the gap. Morathi taking some serious damage, but she does have Soul Stealer to heal herself up. Over here, though, we're going to see Ice Queen Khalida popping her Venom Wave and then pulling back out. Soul Stealer going down here on top of the center of the Tomb King formation, catching the Ushabti Great Bows, Spearman, and the Tomb Scorpion. And those Ushabti Great Bows are just taking so much damage. And Morathi, as you can see, healed up quite a lot of her HP from that. Dark Elves do need to start consolidating and focusing their attack the way they need to be, because at the moment it just seems like everything's kind of scattered from Heck to Breakfast, which is playing into the hands of the Tomb King player here, as they do have a superior number of horsemen on the battlefield. Hydra's getting ready to come in combat now. Black Orc Corsairs are currently in combat, but if they rout, this Hydra's going to be all by its lonesome, so that is a bit concerning for me. However, Morathi coming over, looks like she may be trying to get in to support. Another Soul Stealer on one of these big engagements could definitely turn the tide, and the balance of power is in favor of the Dark Elves at the moment. Usep's Incantation of Desiccation about to go down, everybody. There it is, and you can see it's minus 24 melee attack, minus 24 melee defense on top of all of these Dark Elf forces, and the balance of power has gone to dead even now. Over here, oh, Morathi, what you doing? Oh, Soul Stealer, trying to bait in a Soul Stealer. Will the Soul Stealer do enough damage to kill off these units? It's doing a ton of damage to the Ushabti Great Bows. Morathi is staying on top of her HP because of it, but I'm worried that she may be pitting a play. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh, that makes me happy. The master play. But will it be enough? Morathi is now losing her HP. She's going to be routing here. And, okay, she's going to get back up in the air, but will she be able to survive? She's so close to the map, she might rout off the map right now. And that will be a GG to the Tomb Kings, I think, if she does. Ushabti Great Bows are going to be firing at her, and there she goes! Oh, no! The breaths were awesome, but yeah, the breaths also damaged Morathi and just really didn't pay off there. That gamble did not end up being worth it, and now the balance of power is squarely in favor of the Tomb Kings, just like that. Oh man, Morathi biting off a bit more than she can chew, and now it's really going to be a matter of if Zeblasky's Hydras can solo the rest of this Tomb King army or not. Trying to look around the field to see what else the Dark Elves have to work with, and it's not a lot. Infantry over here is all getting routed, and yeah, it's literally just going to be these Hydras. They have regeneration. They're big old single entity monsters, so you can't count them out, that's for damn sure, but Yeah, I think what's going to end up happening here is the Tomb Kings are going to start surrounding the Hydras, and that's just going to lead to a GG. There's really nothing left on the Dark Elf roster now. And this Tomb King army, although it had a rough maybe start, really paid off in the end. And I think that Marathi play is really what sealed the deal. If Marathi was alive with these Hydras, I think the Tomb Kings could definitely pull it. I mean, the Dark Elves could definitely pull it off. But that one play, that risky move, and I love the idea, you know, getting everything to bunch up on top of her so the Hydras can breathe their damage in. It just didn't work out, but, you know, definitely a 10 out of 10 for style points here going to Zeblasky's build and the master strat of the block breath. But looks like we're going to be seeing the forces of the undead win it out, and we're going to see the Hydras begin to rout. Yeah, not worth it. Definitely friendly fire damage was nuts. It was fun. It was cool to watch, but that didn't work out. But that was a great game, though. It was really fun. Here we go, guys. Tower of Ho with this map. Let's throw up that intro card and get right to it. So, here we are. Round 2, match point for Evenstar. And it's going to be Zeblasky with the Wood Elves taking on VM Evenstar and the Dwarfs. Oh my goodness. Have no fear. Romulan is here. Well, Romulan joined me in the caster chat, and he is here in this battle with me. Maybe he'll make a surprise appearance in a moment.
And maybe I will indeed.
Oh, there he is. How you doing, friend?
I'm doing very well, and I would indeed say have no fear, because Romulan is here. How are you doing today, friend?
I'm doing
on this glorious day.
I'm doing great, man. We've had some awesome battles today, and happy to get to the semifinals, and it's only 12:30, so hopefully the other semifinals ready by the time we're done here, and we can get to the final. But yeah, have you been watching the matches so far? See any ones you like?
I can't think of any one in particular. I just thought they were all excellent, fitting for an event like this, and yeah, been tearing through a tournament with 100 people, and I think this is maybe the third tournament with 100 people. It's pretty amazing turnout with all these qualifiers showing a very healthy multiplayer scene. And yeah, the battles I've just thought have been excellent today.
Well, on that note, since we're getting into this battle, do you want the Wood Elves or the Dwarfs?
The Dwarfs have taken my heart, and I will allude to why in just a moment, but I will start with the infantry. We have, it's like a typical mix of Dwarf Warriors and Longbeards. Looks to be 3 Longbeards and 3 Dwarf Warriors as well, all mixed in. Or check that, 4 Dwarf Warriors and 2 Longbeards. And now we do have some miners with blasting charges. Looks to be just 2. And now, of course, we have a good little range contingent. The skirmish potential for this army is made up of 2, 3, and looks to be 4 Rangers. Interesting choice here.
5, actually.
Oh, yes. Excuse me, 5 Rangers. Interesting pick here. Of course, we have a couple Slayers, and we do have 2 Gyrocopters. Looks to be interesting. They're both brimstone guns. Often you do see the steam guns here, the low armor of the Wood Elves. As well, looks to be just 1 cannon. Yes, just 1 cannon. And for the leadership, we have 1 Master Engineer. A very interesting pick, and most likely an underrated Lord. Massive AP shot and very good range at 180. And we have just a standard Lord. He's naked, nothing in his kit, and that makes up this Dowie army. I do love these gyrocopters, just the glorious unit. The Dowie Royal Air Force, the Twapa, and incredible synergistic unit, and the only mobility the Dowie have. But what has the Wood Elf brought to deal with this dwarven threat, HW?
Well, that's a great question, and it's time to see. So, looks like we're going to have Deepwood Scouts. over here. I think we're going to see 2 of them on the Wood Elf left flank, the Dwarf right. We're going to see 2 Way Watchers in the center. And then we're going to see 2 more Deepwood Scouts on the far right side of the formation. The 2 Deepwood Scouts are both being led by a Way Watcher. Looks like that Way Watcher will have the Arrow of Kurnos and the Eye of Kurnos on top of both of them. Now, that makes it up for the stocked ranged power of this army. And now for the rest of it, we're going to have a healthy number of Wildwood Rangers. And look at them running wildly through the forest, or wildly through the woods, I should say. And there they go with their double-handed cleaves, or glaives, I guess I should say. And looks like they're getting ready to maybe charge in from a flank into the Wood Elf forces. But right now we are going to see that the Gyrocopters are doing some scouting. And as far as the the Wood Elf leadership goes, guess what we got here, guys? It's an Ancient Tree Man. Ancient Tree Man will have the Power Stone, Scroll of Shielding, Foe Seeker, Regrowth, Flesh to Stone, Earth Blood, Call of the Wood, Life Bloom, and Blessing to the Ancients to get that extra Winds of Magic when he's walking through the forest. Over here, it does look like the Gyrocopter discovered the Way Watcher, or the Way Stalker, sorry. And the Deepwood Scouts got discovered as well. Cannon started firing away at them, but they should be able to resume their stock soon.
Interesting. I haven't seen a single Arrow of Kurnos go down. With the number of uses on the field, you can imagine this cannon has a limited lifespan.
Yep.
Once the Wood Elves decide to, seemingly they could take it out at just about any moment. If they get a good shot, it can be down to just a single model very quickly. And it'll be tough. You know, one thing about these Rangers, it's a nice tool to counter stock, but for 25 more gold, the power of Quarrelers, their armor, and their shield, well, of course, there's still a shield on the Rangers, but the higher armor. It's a interesting choice. We'll see if he can use the stock to maximize the value here.
Yep, and here comes that first Arrow of Kurnos, but it looks like they're going for the infantry with it. A nice shot to the side. What the hell? Oh, wow, going for the Rangers way out here.
Yeah, and really unfortunately, it was not a great connection there. Seems to kind of just dove into the dirt just before. Sometimes you can get really good value, as with many magic missiles going on the flank can be devastating, but yeah, absolutely, that was very much lackluster.
Indeed it was, and yeah, I'm just surprised it's not on top of the cannon, and I can't help but, man, if I...
Oh, this is Gyro, HW.
The Gyro? Oh,
the Gyro
man.
just flew into the Way Watchers, and the Gyros are most likely the key to keep eyes on the Way Watchers, the Deepwood Scouts, all the stock units for the Wood Elves.
Yep.
Once they're removed from the field, now we're just about left hapless and just trying to shoot in the dark.
Yeah.
So one more volley here could be devastating.
Yeah,
Still 3 models, but
taking,
they need to get over.
Yeah, and the Waystalker's taking some damage, but, you know, with the Ancient Tree Man, you know, he can definitely heal him up. And I'm just curious to see how this works out. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed either, Romulan, but there is a blob of 2 Miners and 2 Slayers stacked on top of each other, just sitting in the forest behind the formation. And I'm curious to see what the plan is there with them. Is just like save them as late game reserves, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, it seems like they could be just a beautiful ambush. I imagine the Wood Elf must suspect some sort of ambush shenanigans with the cannon nearby, and no units seemingly there to protect it, but it's quite an ambush. But we'll see if the Miners can get max value and roast some of those Wildwood Rangers. It could quickly turn into a Dowie victory. So it's interesting to see how it develops, but the Wood Elf should be keen to the ambush idea back here. Just maybe not the number of units. But this Waystalker's taking a lot of damage, HW.
Absolutely.
If he doesn't get a heal, he might be eliminated.
And that would be a crying shame. I mean, it looks like the Way Watchers are doing a good job of killing off the Dwarf Rangers who are coming out to chase them, but now we have Dwarf Warriors coming out to chase, and that pressure is going to be real. But even one volley from the Way Watchers can do a ton of damage to these Gyrocopters. Do you think maybe the Dwarfs are getting a bit over-eager here?
I would certainly think so, and it seems like they're just kind of going for the Wood Elf trap.
Yeah.
Getting pulled apart, and yeah, the Wood Elf is working the left flank all the while.
Yeah, those gyrocopters taking some damage they cannot really afford. I'm
Oh my
curious
goodness, look at that.
what happened. What did I miss?
Oh, just the damage. It's really adding up. But
Oh, yeah.
they're full models, which is very interesting. But just barely holding on.
Yeah, it looks like the Dwarf Warriors are turning their backs now, and this is an open the opportunity for the Way Watchers just to do what they do best, which is murder armored units from the rear. And yeah, those Dwarf Warriors, I don't know if they're going to make it back to the safety of their own lines.
Yeah, taking half health in just moments there. And the Dwarf is taking a lot of early damage that I think, like you said, he just really can't afford. This will add up in the late game, and yeah, it's still interesting. It looks like the cannons are completely online, but just not really getting any work done. And what are they doing actually right now, HW?
I'm not
It's like
sure.
they're going for a walk.
Looks like they're changing their targeting by the appearances of it, and now they're shooting at the Deepwood Scouts over on the Dwarf left flank, the Wood Elf right.
This is a very curious position for the Ancient Treeman, though. I suppose he's trying to take out the Master Engineer, but he's really going for it right now, HW.
Yeah. I almost feel like he's just trying to draw fire on himself, anticipating he has flesh to stone and regrowth to heal himself up, plus the scroll of shielding. And, you know, I guess all of the corals that go into the Ancient Tree Man aren't going into other Wood Elf units, so he may just be trying to draw fire out and heal it up.
As well, and the Gyros also are not going for him. It seems like this could be a good moment for the Gyros to attack him and try and see if he can just make the Wood Elf pay for this gambit here. But yeah, looks like it's going to be a great situation. He's going to tank all this damage, and the Dowie is really just completely pulled apart now.
Yeah, and it looks like the Dwarfs are using their Gyros at this point and some Slayers to chase after the Waystalker in their backline. So going to get some value there for sure. But, yeah, I mean, dealing with the Ancient Tree Man seems like it would be the way to go. But, man, he's taking some significant damage as he fights this Dwarf Lord.
Absolutely. We've been speaking to the Dowie taking a lot of early damage, but you're absolutely right. The Wood Elf leadership is seeming to be a bit worse for wear here. They're all down about half health, and yeah, the regrowths can't really go around to all three of them.
Yeah.
I can't imagine they can anyway, but we'll see. I think he still has he has the forest magic passive. If he could get to the woods behind the dwarves, he could maybe reap some extra magic there. And oh yeah, there we go. There's a big regrowth on the Waystalker.
Oh, man, and this Dwarf Lord is getting into a scary position. There's a tree man next to him, but their Wildwood Rangers are coming forward, and I worry about that. This generic Lord won't survive against a bunch of Wildwood Rangers, and it looks like he recognizes that too and is trying to run away.
But still a beautiful bait and switch with the other Wildwood Ranger, getting a nice charge on the Longbeards, and that's the thing with these Rangers. Very much a glass cannon unit.
Yeah.
If they get a good charge, they will just shred through the Dowie infantry.
Yeah, well, and they're also faster than these Longbeards, so I imagine they're just going to continue hitting them in the back the entire time they're trying to run away.
Yeah, I don't think these Longbeards will be able to get away. All the while, the other Dwarf Warriors just getting peppered. This is a very interesting battle. The Dwarf seems to have redressed his lines, and he has a decent stacking synergy, but
I'm a bit worried here. Is it frozen for you too? Or is that just me?
I might be slowing down in a second, but no, it'll probably stabilize in a moment. At least let's hope. Ah, there it goes.
Fingers crossed. Oh, well, it just came back to working now, and as the Ancient Tree Man took a cannonball to the face, stumbling back just a bit. And now it does look like the Wildwood Rangers are just have decided it's their time to come out and play. And, you know, one Longbeard eliminated. I believe a couple Dwarf Warriors have been eliminated. And, yeah, I just feel like the Dowie trying to chase around these archers with their Dwarf Warriors isn't working out for them.
Indeed. Though we may get some blasting charges here. Could be a glorious way for the Dowie to gain some ground in this battle, but no, looks like the Wildwood Rangers are keen to it and pull back.
Yep. All right. Deepwood Scouts, Weight Watchers, down to about a third of ammunition, it looks like. So some good ammo.
Waystalker, though.
What about... Oh,
Dowie
the
Lord
Waystalker
somehow caught the Waystalker. A very sneaky Dowie Lord, and he can't really heal much anymore, HW, so a few more hits, maybe a few more volleys from the Rangers, and he could be eliminated. And there we go, a few crossbow bolts in the back for good measure. But alas, seems like the Dowie Lord once again caught out on island unto himself and may get smashed by that tree, HW.
This is true. The tree is also pretty low on health. I mean, he's over 1,000. He got an Earthblood upgraded on top of himself, but at some point I would like to see a regrowth just to get that tree man back up as high as possible. But the balance of power is favoring the Wood Elves at the moment.
Though the aforementioned blasting charges may change that, and I think they're finally going to happen, HW. I think we have a volley on the way.
Oh my goodness, here it comes. Regrowth going down on top of the Ancient Tree Man, and here comes the blasting charges. Oh, the Wildwood Rangers turning around to run away from it, but getting hit in the back.
And they still took some decent damage there.
They absolutely did. They didn't get out of there quick enough, but now look at the blasting charges. Just getting sniped to pieces by all this missile power.
A full focus fire, and they trade back some of that damage with interest. And my goodness, yeah, that miner is not long for this world, HW.
Nope.
And yeah.
Oh, there goes a volley from him, though, before he goes down into some Wildwood Rangers doing great damage. Oof. Painful to see. Yeah, those Wildwood Rangers, the glassiest of glass cannons, and those blasting charges in the back are not helping him in that combat against the Longbeards.
Absolutely, just getting shredded by the crossfire blasting charges here. Trying to right a few grudges with a few swings of the satchel. And could the Dowie claw their way back? The Lords are fighting here in an epic matchup. The Battle of Heroes, the Battle of Champions, HW. Who will win this for their people?
That is the question, but I mean, I have to say, it just seems like the Dowie are slowly pulling this into their favor. Because all the ammo's almost out, and the Wildwood Rangers' charges and impact on the battlefield have definitely been blunted at this point. There's only one fairly healthy one remaining, and it's pretty far in the back line now.
Yes, what is it doing? It's got a bit over ambitious here, but oh no. Looks like the Dwarf Lord will pay the ultimate price, but this Master Engineer HW is proving to be the MVP maybe, if it can take down or at least rout this Ancient Tree Man.
Yeah, Ancient Tree Man barely getting a Earthblood to go down there to keep him in the fight, but yeah, this Master Engineer has been doing some nasty work to him. And the Master Engineer has armor-piercing melee attacks too, let's not forget that, with his big old hammer. So he might be able to take out the Ancient Tree Man in melee.
Indeed, and the cannon Overwatch fire coming in. The cannon really paying dividends here in the late game, and if this tree goes down, I think it will topple the Wood Elf chances, most definitely.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think at this point it's probably safe to say I think the Wood Elves have lost their path to victory. Not to be too doom and gloom, but Ancient Tree Man's very low on health. Archers are all out of ammunition. Tree Man is dead at this point, and I just don't think the one Wildwood Ranger that's coming in to fight now is enough to deal with the remaining forces from the Dowie.
Indeed, and how small things become big things. This one gyrocopter unit with 3 bottles remaining, just below 400 health, but yet somehow full bottles fires its one of its last volleys into the treeman, brings it down, and there we go. It just lost its first bottle, but yet at 300 health. Just an amazing battle.
Yeah, very well played to both players, and I mean, just very, very closely played, but the Dwarfs, you know, outlasting the Wood Elves, and I think those Wildwood Rangers, in spite of some promising starts initially, you know, they just got shot down like the glass cannons they are.
Absolutely. The miner, blasting charge, vanguard, ambush, proving to maybe be one of the deciding factors. But it was definitely a prudent decision to hide the blasting charges and not give the opportunity for the opponent to calculate that into the engagement early on and have to account for it later and just pick it up on the fly. But yeah, it's pretty amazing how the small things can become big things in a battle, and the Lord's just holding on till the last. The Master Engineer only had a few more volleys, but yeah, the damage just really added up there.
Yeah.
And, interesting armies too. It's nice to see the Ancient Tree Man, the Spirit of Treebeard, reincarnated here in Warhammer. What do you think of the builds? I know you play Dowie some, but I don't think you play Wood Elves too much.
Yeah, these are both factions that I would say I play about evenly, which is not a lot.
Yep.
But I mean, I think for me, it's just like I don't. Somebody in chat said it earlier, and I'm not sure who it was, but I do tend to agree that I almost like the full melee against Dwarfs with the Wood Elves. Maybe like a couple of Way Watchers to deal with gyrocopters and whatnot, but I'm not completely opposed to this build by any means. I think it's fine for the most part. I just think the Ancient Tree Man for this army maybe is a strange pick, because it's not the only thing he's really there to heal is himself, it would seem. And I don't know, like, even though the Dwarfs, can do tons of work against wild riders and stuff, I always like to see a bit of mobility, just that little bit of mobility to try to catch out some Dowie that are out of position, punish them, but that might just be my difference of playstyle. But as far as the Dowie army goes, I think that was very well put together. And, you call it there in the beginning, like, Master Engineer is an underrated lord as far as I'm concerned. That constant damage over time, just sniping down the Tree Man. He's no chump in melee combat. As you saw the armor piercing, he was able to deal with the Tree Man when it finally closed the gap. So I think maybe some questionable plays from the Dwarfs, but it worked out in the end.